The dark side of Diddy's empire. Usher, Bieber, and Hollywood secrets. The walls are closing in on Sean Diddy Combs.
I went and got a paper route, but I wasn't supposed to, but I got one anyway.
Federal agents raided his lavish mansions with guns drawn, seizing evidence that could send the music mogul to prison for decades. Now, Diddy's desperately trying to suppress this evidence, claiming the searches of his homes in Los Angeles and Miami were unconstitutional. But what
that God sent me? Yeah, it ain't even a black or white thing at this point.
Exactly was found that has him so worried? Diddy's legal team argues the government presented a grossly distorted picture of reality when applying for the search warrants, omitting certain facts while including salacious details from an unnamed producer. This desperate attempt to
One time I had the Declaration of Independence in one of my 4th of July
exclude evidence suggests the raids uncovered something damning, something Diddy never expected to see the light of day. Behind the glitz and glamour of Diddy's empire lies a disturbing pattern involving some of music's biggest stars. For years, whispers circulated about his mentorship program for young artists.
A clown is not going to scare me.
Really?
Yes.
Now, those whispers have turned into damning testimonies that paint a troubling picture of what really happened behind closed doors. Usher Raymond was just 13 years old when his mother sent him to live with Diddy in what was called Puffy Flavor Camp. Years later, Usher revealed the troubling reality of this arrangement. "I moved to New York City and lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year," Usher explained in an interview. When asked if he would ever send his own child to Puffy Camp, his answer was immediate and unequivocal. Hell no. What exactly
Opened up a whole lot of gifts.
did the teenage Usher witness? He described being thrust into an adult world filled with parties, celebrities, and curious things he couldn't process at such a young age. "I didn't necessarily understand it," Usher confessed, noting that Biggie Smalls, Lil' Kim, Faith Evans, and Mary J. Blige were regular fixtures in this environment. The
I have a vintage Ralph Lauren double-breasted tuxedo.
teenager often found himself staying up later than the adults, exposed to situations no child should witness. These revelations become even more concerning when examining Usher's later life. In 2012, he settled a lawsuit for $1.1 million after
I woke up this morning and I said I want my life to be full
allegedly transmitting herpes to a celebrity stylist. While this might seem unrelated, experts in childhood trauma note that early exposure to inappropriate sexual environments can lead to problematic behaviors later in life. Was Usher's time with Diddy part of a cycle that ultimately affected his adult relationships? The pattern didn't stop with Usher. When a young Justin Bieber burst onto the scene, another disturbing chapter began. After being discovered on YouTube, Bieber was quickly connected to Usher, who took him under his wing. But this mentorship came with unexpected complications. Footage of 15-year-old Bieber surrounded by adults in Hollywood shows uncomfortable interactions
I live an extravagant life and I make no apologies for it.
that many viewers now find alarming. "I feel violated right now," one commentator noted after watching the compilation. In one particularly concerning video, Diddy is seen tapping Bieber's chest, apparently checking if the teen was wired.
Angelic and not really try to overdo it.
A strange interaction that raises serious questions about what Diddy feared might be recorded. Even more disturbing are allegations that Justin made reference to getting smashed at a Diddy party in his music. Former associates have claimed that after
It's like everyday life for us. Yeah.
spending time in Diddy's orbit, Bieber started using drugs so heavy and was smashed every day. When asked what would cause a kid with dreams of music stardom to suddenly start abusing substances, the response was chilling. Usually trauma or a Diddy party. What's particularly telling is how Bieber has systematically distanced himself from both Diddy
It seems like there's something new every day.
and Usher in recent years. Despite Usher headlining the 2023 Super Bowl, an event Bieber attended, the younger star refused to join his former mentor on stage. When asked about the snub on The Breakfast Club, Usher tried to downplay
I live an extravagant life and I make no apologies for it.
the situation. It might have been the fact that he was just wanting to tell a different story right now, and I understand that. But industry insiders see it differently. Bieber has since unfollowed Usher on social media, a move that speaks volumes about their fractured relationship. One
Shutting them down, they're gonna probably be arresting me.
commentator noted, "This is not celebrity drama. This is actually the fall of Babylon that we are witnessing. The systematic cutting of ties suggests Bieber may be trying to distance himself from traumatic experiences connected to his early career. Particularly troubling are claims about
It ain't no joke. The world needs it. That's the war that we in. Love is
the guardianship arrangements that placed young stars like Bieber in Diddy's orbit. One source alleged that Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to Diddy for 48 hours. If true, this would raise serious questions about the ethics of these arrangements and the responsibility
I take it seriously. God sent me here.
of those who facilitated them. Even more alarming are the allegations surrounding Usher's time under Diddy's wing. While specific details remain unclear, one industry executive
Always had that hustle.
We're gonna do whatever, so we're gonna try.
reportedly claimed that a young artist, later identified as Usher, was sent to the hospital after spending time with Diddy. When pressed for details, the source would only say the young artist was bleeding from the butt, an allegation that, if true, would suggest serious physical harm. Another account from an alleged eyewitness described an incident at the
Kaito's killing it. You feel me?
Swiss hotel, where inappropriate sexual behavior allegedly took place with Diddy and various individuals, including a woman described as Keith Sweat's baby mother. These stories, while unverified, contribute to a pattern of allegations that paint Diddy's mentorship program in an
You're gonna hear about my party, they're gonna be shutting them down, they're gonna probably be arresting me.
extremely troubling light. Diddy's legal defenses are crumbling faster than his reputation. One of his top attorneys, Anthony Rico, recently filed to resign from the case, stating that under no circumstances could he continue to effectively represent Combs. In legal speak, this translates to, "I quit," though Rico couldn't elaborate due to attorney-client privilege. When an experienced attorney jumps ship just months before a trial, it often indicates serious concerns about the case or the client.
Bring up a different element into people's environment, things that broaden.
The pressure isn't just coming from within his legal team. Grubman Shire and Mycellus, a powerhouse entertainment law firm that had represented Diddy for over 20 years, dropped him as a client. Reports suggest that Lady Gaga, another client of the firm, threatened to leave unless they severed ties with Diddy, showcasing how toxic his brand has become. Alan Grubman, the firm's founder who was once considered Diddy's friend, apparently decided the relationship was no longer worth the reputational damage. Diddy's attorneys have
Drink water at parties. They just, so if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave.
attempted to dismiss some charges by claiming racial targeting, arguing he's being singled out as a successful black businessman. This defense rings hollow, especially considering the diverse backgrounds of his alleged victims and the serious nature of the charges. Racketeering conspiracy,
Who I met backstage,
He did?
he's a great young man.
Oh, thank
sex trafficking, and transportation for prostitution. What's truly shocking is how many people remain silent for so long. Industry insiders apparently knew about disturbing behavior, but chose not to intervene. Former associates claim they heard
Right,
Alcohols.
right. Not just one alcohol.
Alcohols.
rumors about inappropriate conduct years ago, but felt powerless to speak out against someone of Diddy's stature. The code of silence that protected powerful figures in Hollywood for decades is finally breaking down. Diddy has pleaded
I went and got a paper route, but I wasn't supposed to, but I got one anyway.
not guilty to all charges, including allegations related to what prosecutors call freak-offs, drug-fueled sexual performances that Diddy allegedly recorded for his own pleasure. His defense team argues these were consensual acts between adults, not the
One time I had the Declaration of Independence in one of my 4th of July
coerced
parties.
encounters described by prosecutors. Cassie Ventura, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, is expected to testify against him in May, potentially providing damning first-hand accounts. As Diddy's May trial date approaches, more revelations are likely to surface. Will justice finally be served, or will powerful connections once again shield him from consequences? The testimony of stars like Usher could prove pivotal in determining Diddy's fate. Hollywood has long kept its darkest truths hidden behind velvet ropes and NDAs. But as this case shows, even the most carefully constructed empires can fall
You know, I woke up this morning and I said I want my life to be full of
when the foundation is built on exploitation and abuse. The question now isn't if Diddy's empire will crumble completely, but who else might go down with it, and how many more victims will finally feel empowered to speak their truth. For the young stars who passed through Diddy Camp, the scars appear to run deep. The music industry's practice of placing teenagers in adult environments raises serious questions about the duty of care owed to
You won't hear about my party, they're gonna be shutting them down, they're gonna probably be arresting me.
young talents. As this scandal continues to unfold, it may force a long-overdue reckoning with the exploitation that has too often been dismissed as paying your dues in Hollywood.